want to jump right in. So, Jayson Tatum not too long ago was a pretty big topic amongst NBA fans. Team USA is doing pretty well. They've dominated the competition the last couple of games in the Olympics. Obviously, Tatum is a part of the 2024 Team USA roster, a roster that I think has an argument for the most talented basketball team of all time. I still think the Dream Team would beat this team head to head, but really, really talented group of basketball players, I would say. But everyone was talking so much about Jayson Tatum being benched in the Serbia game where Team USA won 110-84. Jayson Tatum didn't play any minutes in that game, and everyone was saying, "Oh, how could you do it to Jayson Tatum? 0 minutes played. Oh, Steve Kerr, boo-hoo. It's so disrespectful." And I hear people's side of things when they say those things and when they were saying these things. But overall, here's my takeaway. Jayson Tatum being benched by Steve Kerr in an Olympic game was never a big deal and should have never been a big deal. What are we crying over, people? It was a bunch of nonsense. Boo-hoo! Jayson Tatum doesn't get to play. What are we doing? Steve Kerr, how could he do this to Jayson Tatum? Here's the thing, people. Team USA won by over 20 points in that game. Now, had they lost and Tatum hadn't played, then yeah, maybe you could, talk about how Steve Kerr maybe needed to make better adjustments. Maybe he needed to do something better, but that was never the case. And I understand people looking at Tatum and saying, yeah, Jayson Tatum, he was disrespected, but it's not like Jayson Tatum is being benched for a guy like Tony Snell or something like that. He's being benched in favor of guys like LeBron James and Kevin Durant, okay? 2 of the best players of this modern generation of the last 25 years. Tatum, I don't think he's on that level, and neither should you, okay? And in the next two games, after the benching, Jayson Tatum started. So I don't understand why people made it such a big deal. Everyone is all focused on players' brand and individuals. It seems like nowadays, and I'm a little bit guilty of this because I'm a Kevin Durant fan, okay? A lot of people aren't following teams, they're following players. And in basketball culture especially, a lot of superstar players are coddled today. LeBron has a lot of power in the front office. Kevin Durant has some say, back in Brooklyn and now in Phoenix a little bit. A lot of these superstar players, it's kind of like a AAU hierarchy where, okay, I want to play with this guy, I want to play with that guy. The star players are the guys that are kind of doing some of the dictating. If you step on the superstar players' toenails as a head coach, even if you know basketball, if you don't gel well with the players, then you're going to be kicked out of the door. I mean, look at Adrian Griffin in Milwaukee. Didn't connect with Giannis Antetokounmpo. Didn't even last 40 games in the NBA season. So, look, people, we have to grow up about this. And I'm so glad the noise has died down. I'm so glad that no one's really talking about this anymore. Jayson Tatum being benched in an Olympic game, it was never that big of a deal, okay? It just never was. And let's also not forget, Tyrese Halliburton in that same game, he didn't play any minutes. No one heard of people about, oh yeah, the Tyrese Halliburton stands. They're so angry that Tyrese Halliburton didn't play because a lot of those people realized it was dumb. And here's the thing, people. Tatum is not above reproach on this team. I think there's only about 3 players on Team USA that are kind of above reproach, where it's like if they're not playing meaningful minutes, then yeah, something's a little bit off. Maybe we need to question Steve Kerr. That's LeBron, that's KD, and that's Stephen Curry. Those are by far the 3 most talented players on Team USA's roster, and Tatum is really, really good. He deserves to be on Team USA. I'll even go as far as to say Jayson Tatum is a top 10 player in the NBA right now, but he's not above and beyond reproach. And if he's not going to play any minutes in a game, Team USA's fine. They got Anthony Edwards. They got Joel Embiid. They got Anthony Davis. They got Devin Booker. They got so many other really, really good players that it's all about matchups. And if Tatum doesn't play, it's okay. Team USA is going to win probably more than likely. And Tatum, he can use this as motivation. And also, like, people talk about Steve Kerr. If anything, people could say, oh, well, if they want to buy into the thing where it's like, oh, Steve Kerr disrespected Tatum, Tatum played the next 2 games. He started the next 2 games. So whether Steve Kerr was starting Tatum to kind of shut up the media fanboys that were crying so much, or whether he did it for basketball reasons, either way, Jayson Tatum, congrats. Steve Kerr gave you what you wanted. And I think that Tatum actually handled it with class. And it's just life. It's a really, really talented basketball team. And, sometimes great players aren't going to play. And that was an instance in that Serbia game. But this was never a big deal, people. It never was a big deal. Never should have been a big deal. And I'm glad some of this stuff has all died down.